Welcome back to another episode of the AJ Sports Podcast. I am one half, Anthony Carboni, and to my left is the other half, Justin Velche. Woo! We just watched the award show for the NHL. Who won the MVP? Who won the Norris? Who won the Vezina? We'll let you know in a sec, but we got to say what's up to Justin. What's going on, bro?
Bro. No, bro, everything good, bro. Dude, a little late night podcast session here. It's a little bit. We don't usually do it at this,
Just
but
another late.
it just
Just another.
it's just another late night. No, but bro, everything good, bro. I'm hype. Euro starts on Saturday. Free agency starts soon. Just while the award show, and yeah, bro, everything's blessed. Everything's blessed.
Everything is blessed. It's a beautiful sunny evening in Ontario today. So let's jump right into it. I'm feeling great. Let's get right into it and jump into what we did not discuss in the last podcast because we had to go and talk about the Oilers. Let's discuss what happened from then until now. So we'll start with the Ottawa Senators, our favorite, one of our favorite teams, definitely as a Habs fan and Leafs fan. The Ottawa Senators traded for Linus Ullmark, Boston Bruins goaltender, in exchange for Joonas Korpisalo, Mark Kastelik, and the 25th overall pick in tomorrow's draft for Ullmark. So, Ottawa is a goalie killer, as we've noticed over the past couple of years with Cam Talbot and Korpisalo, and now Linus Ullmark. What do you think of the trade, Justin? Number one, what do you think of the trade? And two, do you think the Sens are better now or worse?
I think I'm gonna be honest. I think this doesn't really move the needle for the Sens. Yes, they got a Vezina caliber goalie in Ullmark, but I mean, I don't think like last year it wasn't really Korpisalo's fault and Forsberg's fault that they were mediocre. It was really the team's play. Like their defense just really wasn't good enough, and they were getting injured a lot. Like Shabbat was healthy for maybe 40% of the season, and just like Artem Zub was not healthy for the pretty much the whole season either. So I mean, I don't really think it moves anything. Like it doesn't move the needle for them, and I also think they lost this trade because yes, you get Ulmark, but I mean, look, you give up a first, you give up Korpisalo, who is not he's actually good when he actually plays in front of like behind a good defensive core. So I think Korpisalo will thrive in doing a tandem with Swayman because I think that's what the Bruins will do. I think Swayman will maybe get like 60-40. I think he'll get more a little bit more of the starts. But I think on the Bruins perspective, they get it's phenomenal. They get a first round pick in this year's draft, 25th overall. They got Korpisalo, who's a starter caliber goalie, but they'll probably just play him tandem. And it's some like line dude. I think the Bruins did well. And again, on a sense point of view, I think they got to do a little bit more than acquire Ulmark. It's a good start, but I think they just got to do a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, the return for Boston, I thought it was great. A lot of people on Twitter were a little pissed off about it because they feel like they could have gotten more. Allmark is like in the back half of it, or is getting towards his like, his early 30s. He's like late 20s, something like that. So he doesn't have much left in the tank, I don't think. He's still like a top goalie in the league, but you got to remember he did play like he was the backup.
Trade just happened. Trade just happened.
What trade? Breaking.
Capitals acquire Andrew Mangiapane from the Calgary Flames for a second round.
Really?
Mangiapane is a quite underrated player.
Wow, first pick. That's it?
Capitals doing some things, bro.
Dude, I know they were supposed to be getting some moving up and getting some forwards is what the report said. So now they get Mangiapane for basically nothing. So good on them. But back to what we yeah, I like the trade for the Bruins more than the Sens. Now for Ottawa, yeah, like you said, it's a good start, but who knows, man? Like I know they need some better they just need to be better on I guess the third and fourth line. And they need some gamers. Like we were talking about this. Drew's a gamer before. Like we've discussed this before. They need guys who are like who've been there before, who've played like lots of years and have gone in like far playoff runs and long playoff runs. So they need guys like that in order to build the team because other than like Giroux, who do the Sens really have that's gone the distance in the playoffs before? Really nobody, right? So Giroux knows what it takes to win and how to get to the Stanley Cup final because he did it with Chicago or with the Flyers against Chicago back in 2010 as a rookie, like in
Yeah.
his early days. So for Ottawa, I think it's a good start to get a goalie like Allmark. He wasn't going to be the starter in Boston. We knew that. So now he has an opportunity to play for a Canadian team where Canadian media is going to be all over him. So we're going to see how he performs under that pressure because we know as, fans of Canadian teams, if your team's not doing so hot, you're going to hear it.
We'll get
And
on
if Allmark a lot of the times Ottawa's goaltending was the talk of the tale in the Sens media
years.
because their goaltending was terrible,
Yeah.
right? Like I can name one game in particular, the Rangers game where they were up 2-1 and the Rangers scored 5 goals in 3 minutes to take a 5-2 like that. So you can already like imagine how Sens media is going to go after their guys. So for Allmark, I'm pretty sure I don't think he was on his team. That was his team of choice anyway. I think he waived for Ottawa because I highly doubt Allmark like would have Ottawa as a team he would like to be traded to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I think they reported it wasn't on his 10-team no trade clause. So I think he left them off. But I mean,
Mhm.
you would rather go to Ottawa than Toronto? I mean,
That's
now
interesting.
now that's very interesting. But I mean, you know what, Omar, you go do that, and you go have a career, continue to be mediocre in Ottawa. That's okay. You go do that, bud. You go do that. That's fine.
So it's a very interesting trade for both sides. We'll see how Allmark does in Ottawa. I'm very excited with all of that. But let's move on to the Hall of Fame. We had the Hall of Fame the same day. Who was inducted? Well, we'll tell you right now. One of my Habs legends in my book, Shea Weber. I sent Justin that commercial back in 2021 where it's like the
Fluid was
guy in the Leaf shirt. The dude Habs Mouse was like, Shea Weber, and the guy's like, did I hear Austin Matthews? And he's like, no, Shea Weber. He's gonna be first ballot Hall of Fame. And turns out 3 years later, he is. Shea Weber is inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame as a first ballot as well. So congratulations to him. Jeremy Roenick as well is also a first ballot Hall of Famer. And Pavel Datsuk also made it
Yeah.
into the Hall of Fame, which is well deserved. So congratulations to those three hockey legends of the game. They like Shea Weber on defense, Datsuk with Datsuk Magic, and Jeremy Roenick as well. It's just all put together for the Players Hall of Fame. It's good to see. What did you think of this year's class of players?
I thought this class was. I mean, it was cool. Like it wasn't anything. Like it. No, I mean, like I don't know. With everything happening right now with the draft and like Game
It's not
Seven.
going to get talked about enough. It's not going to
Yeah,
get talked about
I
enough.
mean, this is like probably the least thing. Like this is probably the thing that we're gonna least talk about the most. And you know what? Like it's yeah. I
We,
mean,
we just gotta we just gotta praise some hockey players. Gotta praise some hockey
yeah.
legends.
So I
Throw
mean, and like okay, like sure, just congratulations. Like
Okay, to the free agency. I want to quickly discuss Mitch Marner's situation because Mitch Marner, reported by Frank Cervalli, the quote was, "The Toronto Maple Leafs are aggressively trying to make a move. They are looking to move forward Mitch Marner anytime possible." So it looks like, from what Cervalli's reporting, it looks like they really want to move Marner. Did you see the interview that Brad Treliving did with one of those
saw,
guys, right?
I saw,
What did you
and
think?
I think well, he was talking about draft capital, and he would love to expand that, which I'm all for because I would love some draft picks because we have like nothing. So I would love that. But again, I know what he's talking about oh, if we trade Mitch Marner, then you know, like he would love to get something that would help our team right now, right? Which I mean obviously makes sense, but it's just a matter of what teams trade off their roster great players in order to get Mitch Marner, right? Because we've seen him perform in the playoffs and he's not a playoff guy. So as a front office, do you want a Mitch Marner who would be great in the regular season, but when you need him most in the postseason, do you actually want him? And are you willing to trade guys that are great on your team in order to get Mitch Marner? That's the thing. Yeah, I
Seems
mean,
though to me the front runners of this are Vegas and Utah. Those are
yeah,
the two teams where
Again, yeah, I mean, I would love him to be shopped to or shipped to Vegas for Shea Theodore. I would love him to be shipped to Utah for Clayton Keller. I think those two guys would be an absolutely phenomenal addition to this Leaf squad. And I'm telling you, Clayton Keller would be an absolute fan favorite here when he links up with Austin Matthews. So, and I've been saying that for years. A Clayton Keller Austin Matthews duo in Toronto would honestly feed families. That would be absolutely insane. So again, I hope we get this deal done because his time's coming up to an end and it's turning very sour very quickly. And yeah, to be quite honest, I mean in the postseason he doesn't really bring much to this team anyway. Like let's just be honest. Regular season, yeah, we might be a little bit worse in the regular season, but again, when you make the playoffs, regular season doesn't matter, bro. So I don't care. We could be worse in the regular season as long as we make deep runs in the playoffs. Then dude, I'm all for it. Like I don't care.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Another trade we forgot to talk about is Jake Wallman to the Sharks
Okay.
for future considerations. What was that? What was that trade? I mean, that was, Detroit's,
Shot.
he was in the top four. He was a top
Yeah.
four defenseman. He played did he play first D pair with Sider?
I think so for a little bit, or it was Goss's Bear. It was one of the two. I mean, they're just clearing up cap space. I think I saw they have like 30.
I think they did this because they're looking to add a good piece. I heard, who did I hear? I heard Gibson's name for
Oh
goaltending
yeah.
is an option for Red
Mm,
Wings. So they're trying to clear up some cap space because if you want future considerations, which is nothing in this league, future considerations is absolutely nothing because we've seen nothing come out of future considerations. So looks to me that they're just trying to clear some cap space and getting rid. I think it was $4 million he was making a
yeah.
season.
Yeah. I mean, I was shocked. Like, okay, whatever. The Sharks have to hit the cap floor anyway, so they're gonna add players anytime they want. They're not gonna be good. But I mean, on the Detroit perspective, I was kind of shocked because he was one of their better D man last year. So
Yeah.
but I mean, they still have guys like Gostisbehere, they have Sider, they have Olimata, they have Justin Hall, I guess. So I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, they still have tons of money to use, so it would be very fascinating. But we will see.
Did you see that the Blackhawks acquired Ilya Mikheyev and the UFA rights of Sam Lafferty
Oh,
for a 2027 fourth round pick? So Mikheyev waived his no movement clause to facilitate the deal. So the Blackhawks get Ilya Mikheyev and basically the rights to Sam Lafferty if they want to sign him or not,
yeah,
and a second round for a fourth. So it looks like the Canucks are also trying to clear up cap space because I've heard interest in Jake Guenztel from them as well,
it would be a great
who is
move.
probably going to around the $9 to $10 million range.
Hmm.
So it's a good trade for the Canucks if they were to clear up cap space, and it gives the Blackhawks, a bit of, other veteran pieces to play with Bedard. So I see this as like an even trade for what both teams want.
Yeah, I mean, again, Chicago's not going to be good, so I mean, they'll just take players whenever they want, and I mean, it's fine. Canucks, I mean, you can see what they're trying to do, just trying to clear cap space. So, I mean, I do believe they might get Jake Getzel. It just makes a ton of sense. And I mean, they made it to the second round of the playoffs. Jake Getzel's a playoff guy. So, I mean, look, if Jake Getzel is added to that team, bro, he could make a major impact on them for next year. So, it'll be very fascinating to see where he goes and what the Canucks want to do with this money. But
So
we'll see.
the last thing before we head into the free agency, the NHL awards. So for the Ted Lindsay, Nathan McKinnon takes home his first Ted Lindsay. For the Norris Trophy, Quinn Hughes takes the Norris Trophy. For the Vezina Trophy, Connor Hellebuck takes the Vezina Trophy. And MVP, Nathan McKinnon. Two trophies in one night. Well deserved. I mean, we all knew McKinnon had the best season. We said it was going to come down to Kucherov and
Yeah.
McKinnon. And no sign of McDavid at the award show, by the way, just to point that out there.
Bro,
And
Bosky was there. He was at the award show. He was looking
Broski
fresh.
was there. He was looking fresh. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. That
A
was
lot of the
funny.
Panthers. I feel
Oh,
like if I won this, I wouldn't care about the award show either, to be honest.
no, no.
But that's just me. But yeah, McKinnon wins the Hart Trophy. I wasn't surprised. He was the best player this season. He had the most points. He was just outstanding for his team. And for him to win the Ted Lindsay too, voted among players as well, is really impressive. So what did you think? I mean, you were always on McKinnon over McDavid. And this just adds to your point of McKinnon being better. So
Well,
what do you think?
again, I've been saying this ever since I met you in high school. McKinnon will continue to be the best player in the league. And again, this proves my point as to why he is the best player in the league. I didn't know this. This is the fourth time he's been nominated for the Hart, and this was his first trophy. So major congratulations to him. Fully deserved it. He made history this year with most consecutive home games with a point, which was just absolutely absurd. Um, he did that. He had 50 plus goals. He had like 100 and something points. It was just an unbelievable season.
Mhm.
Also, Lindsay, it was just honestly incredible. Yeah, so first Hart, first Ted Lindsay, Stanley Cup winner. I mean, just when you watch him play, you can pretty much tell that he's the best player in the league, and he shows up in big moments. So, I mean, yeah, further proves my point. Congratulations, McKinnon, and thank you for making me to continue to look like a genius. Thank you very much. So, yeah, off to next year. So, we'll see. We will see who wins.
All right. So tomorrow we do have let's get some dates going. So tomorrow we have the draft. Monday we have free agency opening.
Hmm.
So Canada, we will see who's going to go where because it'll be a busy day in the hockey world. Tuesday, July 2nd, the announcement for the 2024-2025 NHL season schedule will be
Yeah.
released to the public so we can plan the games we're going to go see, right? All right. So that'll be interesting. So looking forward to those dates. Hopefully we get to see where Macklin Celebrini goes tomorrow, which is pretty much San Jose. But
Yeah.
we've seen some funny missed drafts before.
Yeah.
So we'll but heading into the free agency, we are on capfriendly.com right now. Maybe I can share my screen right here and we can go through we can
Yeah.
go oh you the host has disabled participant screen
Oh,
sharing. So you can share your screen if you want.
okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Actually, yeah, I'll do that.
And we can go over the UFA list together and discuss a lot of these players.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, I want to talk about Martin Necas because Martin Necas is getting a lot of interest from a lot of teams. But the sources have been saying it looks like to me that it will be Buffalo as the front runner for Necas. But I have heard Montreal has been interested. The Ottawa Senators have also looked into Martin Necas.
Hmm.
There was a couple others as well. Forget who they were, but I know Montreal, Buffalo, were interested. Maybe Boston as well. I think Boston were interested too.
Possible interested. I don't know, man. Nate just. I mean, he's a hot topic right now. He's that dude that teams want. So
Funny thing is, also, we discussed how the Oilers may trade Draisaitl. Well, apparently the odds book came out and showed that Draisaitl's next teams like on the odds, and the Boston Bruins were at the top at plus 300.
really,
We also
oh
have heard we look on Twitter, you'll see it. I saw something where the odds for which team Draisaitl would get traded to because
yeah,
next year he's looking for a max. You saw in the presser today he didn't even come across his mind about an extension yet. So who knows? We have been discussing like, hey, maybe they need to trade Draisaitl, and I've heard, Pasternak say we would love to get Draisaitl on Boston. They probably the European connection I feel may work, and we could see Boston trade a bunch of pieces for a player like Draisaitl where he can thrive and play with Pasternak. What do you think?
again, it wouldn't even surprise me because they always seem to get the big fish. Um, Remember they got
Yeah.
Chikrin. No, not Chikrin. They got
Lindholm,
yes, Lindholm. Yeah, bro. They got Lindholm when they wanted him. They've gotten other players when they wanted him. So
Bertuzzi.
yeah, Bertuzzi. So again, it wouldn't shock me. That's just the most Bruins thing I'll probably ever see in my life if they get Draisaitl, and it would just bring more torture as being a Leaf fan because we got to see him even more often. So I mean, yeah, I really hope it doesn't happen. But again, from a Bruins perspective, that would make the most sense. I mean, their team going forward in going forward down the future. It doesn't really look great. So I mean, if you could just add Draisaitl to go along with maybe a older Marchand, and then you still have McAvoy, you still have Pasta, you still have Lindholm. I mean, the team's forming. The team's forming. So I wouldn't even be surprised.
So let's look at the free agents. At the top, Steven Stamkos with a UFA cap hit of $8.5 million. Is he staying or is he going?
I think he's going. I think two teams that make a lot of sense. The Leafs make a lot of sense because he's from Toronto, and yeah. Another team that makes a lot of sense personally is the Detroit Red Wings. I think the Detroit Red Wings could really use him, and I think
We've
him
heard
and
rumors about that too.
yeah, and I think Stamkos, I think he would really look good in a Detroit Red Wings jersey. And I mean, they're pushing for a playoff spot and they're right there for the playoffs. And I think if Stamkos can be there, he could be a true X factor with that team. So along with the
I'll
bring
give you.
Ken,
I'm gonna give you three teams. I'm gonna give you
okay.
three teams. Toronto because
Yeah,
home.
yeah,
Boston
okay,
because they need. Montreal. I
okay,
can see him coming to play under Martin St. Louis.
okay.
100%. I would love to see that. He can help a guy like Cole Caulfield. He can help Suzuki. He can be that veteran experience, take a $4 million cap, play for the Canadians, and help those guys grow while playing with Martin St. Louis, who we know have a great relationship with each other with. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if we see him in Montreal, but Toronto, Boston, Montreal are the three teams I could see him going to.
Okay.
Sam Reinhart, number two, staying or going? Gotta be staying.
100%. Matt Murray, yeah, we're not discussing on that fraud. Jay Gensel.
That's tough. I don't know, man. If Martin Necas gets traded, then yes, he stays. If Martin Necas doesn't get traded, I think Gensel goes and he goes to the Vancouver Canucks, who was the player they wanted the most heading into last year's trade deadline. If I'm correct.
Yeah, I think one team, and it will be the Vancouver Canucks. I just think he just again makes a lot of sense, and if they add him, they could be a team to watch next year. And like in conference final appearance, I wouldn't be surprised. Henrique, I mean, who cares?
Yep.
Anthony Mantha, you know, I like Mantha. I think he's a very underrated player, and he's only 29 and can play both wings. Um, Mantha, what's his cap hit? He was 5.7.
I don't
Hmm.
know, mate. Uh, I think it doesn't. I think Vegas just needed him for a playoff run. I think he's going to test free agency and go somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but I think he will probably test the free agency market.
I think so. 29? I mean, I could see him in Buffalo. Why not? I mean,
44 points, 4 games. I mean,
the
yeah, that's
Buffalo
probably a
Jets,
bottom, right?
Buffalo Buffalo Jets. So
Buffalo,
no,
yeah, I Buffalo taking a guy like him.
I think Mantha and Buffalo makes a lot of sense. Bertuzzi, he might hit the market, but again, players who hit the market, they could always just resign. I think the Leafs might keep Bertuzzi. I like Bertuzzi a lot, and I hope he comes back, and I hope he wants to come back. What do you think?
Bertuzzi, I mean, he's from the area, right? He played for Guelph. So I don't know. I think if they can get the term right, like I don't think a 2 year term is. I think they should go for at least four, like
Yeah,
a 4 times 4, 4 times 5, something like that. I think would make sense. I wouldn't pay Bertuzzi over five and a. I wouldn't pay Bertuzzi over $5 million personally. 5 mil is the max, I think, for a player like him.
yeah,
So if you can get him for like a 5 times 4, so you get $5 million for 4 years, I think that's pretty fair.
yeah, yeah.
Um, what
Sense.
do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I really hope the Leafs don't overpay, and I think they just give him the term, 5 mil, 4.5, 4 mil, 4 years, done deal, lock it up, boom. Like just get it over with. Don't be spending all this cash for no reason, bro. Like 6 mil, like 6 mil is an overpay. Come on, okay.
We don't
Um,
need to we don't need to go over all these guys. I think we could just go over the big fish for sure.
uh,
Um,
Brady Shea.
Tarasenko, or I was saying we can go for Brady Shea first, but
Brady Shea, I think the Montreal Canadiens would actually really like Brady Shea. I think Shea in
yeah,
Montreal brings veteran presence on that decor. And I think, look, that as much as I hate the Montreal Canadiens, I will give them praise. They're looking like a very scary team, a very young team, and I think Brady Shea's veteranship, presence, and playoff experience will help a lot with that young decor that they have. And I think he'll
and
just be a
he wants to be active and be very strong heading into this offseason. So we're gonna see him making a lot of moves, and I feel like you said, this move would really help the Canadians decor, especially with guys like Gooley Guys like
That
forget
guy.
his name, Jack Eye, Jaden Struble, guys like that. So
Shea makes a lot of.
um Tarasenko. Tarasenko, I think he stays. Why would the Panthers let him walk? It's a
Yeah,
that team won the Stanley Cup. You have him at $5 million. You could ask him to take a discount, but I mean, I think the Panthers can afford $5 million for a guy who did. He was very present in the playoffs.
he was there. No, I think he stays in Florida. Plus, dude, Florida. Why not stay in Florida? Like, come on, bro. Like, you don't even need all that money, too, bro. Like, come on. Like, let's just be honest. You could just stay there and just play until your career ends. Let's just be honest.
Last year's Conn Smythe winner, Jonathan Marchessault. I think he's gonna walk.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's gone.
I think he did his thing. 4-2 goals last year. Conn Smythe winner. He's won the cup with them. I think it's time for him to go. Um,
I think Montreal because he's from Quebec,
yeah.
or maybe a team like the Hurricanes if they figure out their situation with Guenztel and Natchez. I think he could fit well in that that area.
I think if the Stars have cap room, I think another
Mm,
veteran, they love their veterans, Johnny Marchessault in that top six, who's a clutch performer in those playoffs. I mean,
yeah.
I'm out there, Johnny Marchessault in Dallas. They look scary. I love Lindholm. This is an interesting one. I think
I have
Boston.
no. Yeah, Boston are like. I know they remember they were like Pittsburgh, Vancouver, and Boston were looking to do some kind of three-way trade
Yeah,
where because Lindholm went to the Canucks, right?
yeah.
And there was rumors of Lindholm going like in this three-way trade, him going to Boston, Gensel somehow going to Vancouver, and a bunch of pieces from both going to Pittsburgh. Lindholm has been a target for the Bruins. They just don't have the pieces to trade for him, or they didn't have the pieces to trade for him back in before the trade deadline. Now that he's a free agent, Boston are probably going to push this guy because they need a center. That's where they were getting beat in these playoffs. Was at the faceoff circle. So I think, like you said, Boston is the perfect spot for him, and I think that's where he will go if he does hit the market. And if the Canucks are trying to sign Gensel, Lindholm is definitely gonna go away. And Boston, I think, is the perfect spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, the Canucks, I mean, for a good chunk of having him, he wasn't really doing much for the Canucks anyway, so I don't really see as a reason as to why they should re-sign him. Christopher Tanev, I've seen the Leafs kick tires. Tanev would be an interesting pickup, but not for long. Maybe a 1 or 2 year contract. He's already 34, and we've seen older defensemen all roughed up, not play well, into their late.
Would you see the Leafs?
Yeah, I could see the Leafs on a 1 or 2 year deal. I
I
can
think
see.
I think the Sens. I think he goes to the Sens. I think they get another Travis Hamonic deal, and he ends up playing for the Ottawa Senators because I know the Sens are looking for guys like Tanev, especially on the back line. And I think Tanev will probably go there. I don't think he sticks with the Stars. I think he was just there for a rental. And he's gonna do a 4 times 3 deal in
Yeah,
Ottawa.
maybe. Yeah. Brett
Foley.
Pesci.
I want to talk
Oh,
about Toffoli. Toffoli, man. I have been seeing the Rangers are looking for him. And that's what I think is going to happen. I think Tyler Toffoli is going to the New York Rangers. I would love to see that. They have been looking for a right winger for how long?
yeah.
Kako is Kako hasn't been that guy. He just hasn't. Barkley Goodrow, they tried him on the wing before. They waived him. I think a guy like Toffoli who can score 30, he had 33 goals in the regular season. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes there. What do you think? Where do you think he goes? Or he
Yeah, I
has
think Rangers make a lot of sense. I mean, they need winger help out there, and I think it's just a perfect fit. Um, a team that I could see he goes back to LA to help with the younger guys. I could see an LA option, but I think the Rangers make a lot of sense. Okay, quickly. Brett Pesci. Um, whew, I mean, I would like a Brett Pesci in Toronto.
Toronto. I think he
Yeah.
goes to the Leafs.
Jake DeBrusk. I mean, Leafs apparently have mutual interest, so I mean, maybe it's time. Get a fucking Leaf killer in there. Come on, boys, get DeBrusk in there. I'm taking that all day.
No,
Uh,
dude, he's a Bruin. He will always be a Bruin. He will not leave the Bruins.
Honestly, yeah, probably. Like who from Boston actually wants to come here? Like, let's just be honest. Matt Dumba. Matt Dumba.
Yeah,
I think he resigns in Tampa Bay, to be honest.
I agree. Samsonov,
Samsonov, quick. Samsonov.
goodbye. Goodbye. He's gone. He's gone.
Fuck it.
He's
He goes to the LA Kings. Actually, no, because they already got Kemper. They traded for Kemper. Sammy. He goes back to Russia. I don't care. Brandon Montour.
Oh, first of all, why is Brandon Montour all the way down here at 39 out of all the UFAs? He's like probably the best defenseman on out of this entire fucking list, and he's all the way down here. Obviously, he resigns. Clearly, he makes only. I think his cap is 3.5 right now or 5.2, but like
Yeah.
he stays, no doubt he stays.
Yeah, no, he stays. I don't see why the Florida Panthers would just let him go. Like he was actually a big part of that team winning. Matt Raw, I would love in Toronto, but I think on Montreal Canadiens, I think the Montreal Canadiens would be sold and all in on Matt Raw. 29 right shot D man, 3.1 cap hit. You might want to raise maybe to 4.5 ish, and I think the Canadiens make a lot of sense.
Matt Duchene, finally, I think we should talk. We should discuss.
You
Hey,
know, bro, I think he stays in Dallas.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and that's it. Those are pretty much
What
all.
not a lot of the rest of the players we they're probably gonna test the free agency market. We decided to talk about the big fish because those are like the guys that are gonna be talked about the most. So we'll see what happens Monday in free agency. I'm definitely gonna keep my phone like open. I'm gonna be tweeting. We're gonna be discussing. And Tuesday we should have a pod drop. We'll be dropping another pod talking about this. When you see this, you'll see this on Friday, which is tomorrow. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of the Sports Podcast. Leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends. And yeah, enjoy this weekend's Euro games. Go Italy and enjoy the draft tomorrow. And we will see what happens July 1st, Canada Day, for the free agency. Until then, guys, we'll see you next time. Take care and peace.